sticking around. We're into the topic of discussion and surely here to make sure that we move further and beyond with at least enlightening you more from the world of business. And I'm still here with Winnie Atabaruyo. I think I've got the name right this morning. So, and I'm good to go. So Winnie, let's get into more about the marketeers and sales. What are those things that a good marketing person should possess?
Or the skills.
The do's and the don'ts, maybe.
Okay, yes, the do's and don'ts, and also I think for me the skills.
Yes.
One is soft skill communication, listening skills.
Right.
Salespeople must listen. If you're a salesperson, then you must listen. You see, when you listen, you're going to be able to understand the customer. Away from that communication, because we're always talking, we're telling people about our products, you know, you're showing this, communication becomes a part of you. So that's also very key. You must be a good communicator. Then problem solving. People have problems. You're bringing your products to solve the problems. And so you must have problem solving skills. If someone tells you, no, I don't want it in blue, or maybe I wanted this shape, you should be quick enough to say, okay, what about this option? You're solving a problem. You don't just say, the blue ones are out, and that is it. No.
Okay.
So that, and of course, empathy. You see, as a salesperson, put yourself in the customer's shoes. It's not always about you. So empathy as well.
Okay.
And product knowledge. You must know your product. You see, you can't go to someone to sell and they ask you something about the phone and you just don't know it. Let me call my supervisor. It doesn't work that way.
You
so
only
you
know
must know your product.
Okay. Now, in scenarios where you are a marketing person, you've been chasing for this deal or going out there to the field for quite some time and things just do not turn out how you expect them. And then you feel like, no, let me give up. What in most cases pushes a salesperson who is interested in making this sale push out of the deal?
You see, the first thing we talked about at the beginning was that there is a target market and you segment. So there are times when honestly you've tried your best. You have pushed this business, you have called to a point you even start to irritate the customer. And I feel like in as much as we say you don't give up in sales, there's a point where you just realize that, you know what? This is not the person, because you've done your best. You have called, you've kept in touch, you've probably improved your product. You're not nagging, because nagging in itself is also frustrating. But at the end, there are just some sales that will not happen, and it is okay. There you give up.
Okay.
When you've done your best. You see, you could push a client and push a client and push a client, and you'll even be shocked maybe after 5 years they call you back. But maybe you just accept and say, you know what? Tuchite.
Tuchiveko. 19, I believe everyone is in recovery mode.
Yes.
Everyone is trying to recover. People are switching to new businesses. Others are switching to new jobs and new workplaces. But then to the sales team, marketeers, what is the best way for them to make sales during this time now? It is really hard now. Things have actually are not the usual ones that we're used to. Things are really tight. People are so calculative when it comes to their money. They don't just let go of money, or they don't just put money anywhere. How can people make these sales now?
Post-COVID accelerated the technology. Yeah, and we have all seen that. Where people were doing sales, you know, physically, now companies are harnessing on technology and how they can be able to increase their sales, how they can be able to be relevant to the customer. And so for me, for many businesses, I would think that by now, all businesses should understand that customers want things that are convenient. Customers do not have the time, first of all. Technology, especially in Kampala and maybe surrounding areas, everyone has a smartphone. So if you're in business and you don't have a business account, if you're in business and we still have to go and make up lines, for example, banks to open up an account, people are now opening accounts online. I don't have to walk into the banking hall. I can actually open up an account. So in post-COVID, people have realized and businesses have realized that technology is the way to go. Even if it's a lady who probably has a small shop somewhere and she's probably selling clothes, you will see on her status that because online may not work for the market vendors. Some of them, online may not work for a certain group of people, so what works for them? So the strategies have to be tailored to meet the different groups of people, because it's not, honestly, Jeremy, it's not a one-size-fits-all.
Yes.
No, it isn't. Because you must tailor. What works for me as me, because I have a phone and I can afford the data, will not work for another person. But at the end of the day, we can all buy.
Okay. And if you're to as well look at the issue of consultancy,
Yes.
I wanted to understand, how can this impact on a business?
I would like to, I hope you can let me use me as an example.
Okay.
So this is what I do. I run a consultancy firm, and we do capacity building skills.
Okay.
We do trainings, and these trainings are in areas of businesses where people struggle. Things like sales. You see, sales is the lifeblood of every business, but many times you may not understand it. It's not about a product, and so we offer these skills. I will come and train the team. You know, we come up with strategies for you, but it's not just sales. There's financial management. You've seen businesses that start, it doesn't matter big or small, they run it down simply because of things like finances. So when different consultants, it depends on, in this case for us, when we are training, we are trying to help you grow your business. And for different other topics, there's leadership, there's change management. The biggest challenge was for many people after COVID, they didn't know how to transition. And so that also became a challenge.
All right. All right. Winnie, in the last few minutes, I think we're going to be winding up with our discussion, but I would request you to, first of all, your final remarks as we're ending up with this discussion.
For me, my final remarks would be to any business that is micro, small, medium, and enterprise. It's about resilience. We come from a space where things were really tough. Things are still tough, but you don't give up. You don't give up, you keep pushing on. I keep telling people that there'll always be a time when the lid breaks, or you see how they say water will put a hole in the rock because of consistency. That drop every day, the rock will crack. And so that's what business is. It's to be resilient, it's to be tenacious. That's tenacity, meaning you don't give up. Okay. Because that's what it is. If you're going to give up, then what? Go back to the village? No. So you don't give up. For the salespeople out there, sales is a profession that trains the character of a person. You actually become a better version of yourself in the long run, because now rejections and negative things don't faze you anymore. Honestly, if you've received no's, sometimes I make 20 calls and 15 say no. And we move on. You know, I'm not going to beat myself over it. So for the salespeople out there, for people that have businesses, even you, the business owner, you must be a salesperson. Don't just leave it to your team. Trainings, personal growth and development. Take time to, you know, understand your profession. Take time to know how to grow your business, develop your skills as a salesperson.
To limit this question, but I would think it is very vital to know, how can